Personal Story segment tonight. Last week we spoke with Elvira Salazar, an anchor woman for Mega TV in Miami. She was supposed to get an interview with Donald Trump, but he kind of walked out on it. That interview was never rescheduled. Ms. Salazar joins us now here in New York City. Are you angry about this?
No, not really. I think it was the right thing for them to do. I think it was the right move. He called me on the phone Tuesday night, and he said he wanted to apologize for not talking to us, that he wanted us to know that he did want to talk to the Hispanic community, but that at this hour he needed to stay focused and he needed to not get off track.
All right. So he was polite. He was a gentleman. He called you and he explained. I would be teed up, but you're much nicer than I am. Now, as far as Hispanics in Florida are concerned, Donald Trump needs a big turnout on his behalf to win that state. Do you think it's going to happen?
Oh, I think Cuban Americans could really help him tremendously. In the last 2 months, he has gained 20 points among Cuban American voters.
Why?
In South Florida. I think President Obama has helped him tremendously with his Cuba policies. And basically what happened 2 weeks ago at the United Nations, for the first time in 55 years, the United States has not voted pro the embargo against Cuba.
All right. So Cuban Americans in Dade County, where you live, in Miami, and then throughout the state, follow this stuff very, very closely, whereas a lot of Americans, they don't know what happened at the UN.
Absolutely.
So after President Obama didn't vote to uphold some of the embargo, Cubans got angry, and that's going to help Donald Trump?
I would imagine that is the straw that broke the camel's back.
So
why?
Dade County is usually Democratic, though. It is,
except that voting bloc called the Cuban Americans.
And you think they're going to go for Trump, the majority?
I would say that right now 60% of the Cubans would go for Trump.
Wow. He should have talked to you. Well, I mean, that would have helped him, though. He needs Florida desperately.
Yeah, right? and I think that's one of the reasons why he really wanted to talk to us. But I think that the wiser political move would have been 5 months ago, 6 months ago, when he became the nominee, to go to the heart of the community, not only to the Cuban Americans in Miami, to the Puerto Ricans in Central Florida, to the Mexicans in California, and talk directly, face to face, about those thorny issues.
On shows like yours. Okay.
Well,
now, the last time we had you on a program, we had a little bit of debate about a wall. You don't feel that the wall is necessary on the southern border. Of course, it's a big part of Trump's campaign. You want the E-Verify and do it that way. But I support the wall not only to keep people out, and I think that has to happen. We have to have an orderly immigration process, but for the narcotics. I mean, Miami is awash in drugs, you know that. And the drugs are coming from Mexico now, not from Colombia the way they used to. And they're coming across that southern border, and it make it a lot more difficult if you had a big barrier down there.
Well, maybe yes, maybe no. But
I don't know how no.
Well, because when you have technology and you have more border patrol, but that is a position that I think has a lot of merit. But then you have this other one that I think we talk about a lot more, that the illegals that are jumping the wall or defying the desert.
See what I want to do, and I have to go, but I want to do is have a wall down there to discourage poor people who are being exploited and being assaulted when they come up from Central America and Southern Mexico by these terrible smugglers, people smugglers. They brutalize these people. And I think if that barrier were there, it'd make it tougher for the coyotes, and it'd make it a lot tougher for the cartels to get drugs in. So anyway, that's what.
But when they jump, they get rewarded with jobs. That's why I'm saying E-Verify.
I'm for that. I am absolutely for that.
So if you're going to punish one side, I think you should punish the other, which are the business owners.
I want to protect the innocent people trying to get here. Let them do it legally. Thank you, Ms. Salazar, very much. Nice to meet you. We appreciate you coming in. We come right back. Bernie.